Oh my
Carlos.
gosh. Okay. Well, first we need to talk about the fight that
Yes.
Carlos and Charles were seen bickering after the race. Okay, so let's lay out what happened.
Okay.
There was some contact made, and neither driver really wants to take the blame for it. They're both kind of saying they were in the right, and
Hmm.
Charles's front wing was slightly damaged. And I think it's probably fair to presume that Carlos is driving to impress teams that will possibly sign him.
Yeah.
He's already lost a seat at Ferrari. He is trying to find the best potential suitor for next year. And right
Hmm.
now, it could be Williams, but if he were set on that, he would have signed the contract already.
Correct.
So there's rumors that now Alpine is pursuing him, Williams, and I think Sauber is still in the mix. Audi, Sauber, whatever.
Hmm.
And so when that domino drops, we will have more silly season things. But before that can happen, we still have races that need to be raced. And Carlos doesn't seem like he's willing to back down and bow to Charles. And Charles seems like he thinks that he should just get, team rules, and Carlos should pull over for him every time that they're near one another. So that leads to them being on completely separate pages. And this little incident happened, and neither of them were very happy about it.
No, and if you can see here, I do believe that is Valtteri Bottas sitting there looking
He's just
at them.
watching.
And Valtteri, like the rest of us, is just waiting for something to kick off. And also maybe scouting. Like if they're really interested, then Valtteri is, maybe going, hang on, I need to see if you got hand. Maybe maybe that's part of the pitch process as well.
Yeah, my favorite part was what Carlos Sainz said after the race. So let's listen to Carlos talking about Charles.
What, sorry? The move on him at the start of the race could have cost the team points today. What would you say to that?
It's,
He said he thinks if you watch it back, you'll see what he means.
I think it's too many times that he complains after the race about something. I think if obviously in hot, he might think that. Honestly, at this point of the season, I don't know. I was on the attack. We were on a new soft. Mercedes were on a used soft, and we had to go on the attack in the first laps when you have a new tire and try to pass them like we said even before the race. And I passed Charles because he was, I don't know if he did a mistake or he was just managing a bit too much. And then I went on and I nearly passed Lewis. I undercut Lewis. We nearly passed Russell at the pit stop. So I think I was trying out there what I have to try as a driver.
Hmm. He complains too much. Ah, I don't like to see
That's
them fight like
I don't
this.
like that either, but like that's so crazy because Formula 1 drivers never complain. Like I've
Hmm.
never heard one of them complain once in my life. So that I just don't believe that.
Shocking.
They love to complain so much. Like every
Yes.
if you ever listen back, which everyone should, if you ever listen back to F1 puts together like their compilation of best radio messages from a race weekend, every single message is a complaint. Whether it's like
Hmm.
so and so is in the way or my knee hurts or this tire is shit, like every single message is a complaint. And that's kind of the nature of what the messages are, but it's very very funny to me because that's
Hmm.
basically what they do.
Complaints about other drivers above all else, meaning, he impeded me on turn 4, and you look at it and you go, you ran him off the road. Like, yes, he impeded me. I gave him enough room. No driver has ever been guilty of anything. The only driver I know who's ever actually been honest about whether they mobbed, intimidated, or did something reckless was Fernando Alonso. I would like to go ahead and state that if you are the person who says that you passed somebody and made a risky move because you knew the other guy had wife and kids, you're the problem. You're the danger out there, and you know it. Um, my other favorite thing from this dispute between Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc is this: that Carlos Sainz has every right to complain about his teammate complaining by complaining. He has a right to do that. Okay. But at the same time, he will be doing exactly what Charles is doing. And that is why F1 drivers are hilarious, because there
Yes.
will be nobody who admits they are living in a glass house. None of them. They are all throwing stones 24/7 because it's only 20 of them. It's a real tight environment. And it's like diving in soccer. You have to attempt every edge at every time. That's the one thing I learned at Le Mans about drivers. It might be 16 hours into the race, but guess what they're doing? They have a little notebook, and every time you violate etiquette, they're just writing it down, and they're complaining about all of it all the time.
If you had to pick a side, whose side would you be on?
I am on Carlos's side because he ain't got a job, Jessica. He ain't got a job. He's gonna need a job, and I am all on the side of the guy who doesn't have a guaranteed seat next year. I love you, Charles, but you're from Monaco. Your understanding of hardship and challenge, in a general sense, it's probably a little bit lower than even Nepo baby Carlos Sainz's. That's what I'm guessing.
No, that's mean to Charles.
Yeah, it is mean, but it's accurate. Most things that are accurate are mean, Jessica.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'm on Team Carlos as well, but I can see both of their points of view. Charles feels like he's entitled to something by being the team's number one driver.
Yeah.
And I think George Russell probably is in the same boat, and that's like kind of an awkward, Mercedes is in an awkward position now where Lewis is still the best driver on the team, but George is going to get preferential treatment. And so, like, where does that leave us in a race where they're both racing behind or in front of one another? Awkward things are going to happen, and it's going to be pretty ugly.
I have a question. Do you think Charles has a legitimate beef when he says that he sometimes isn't treated, right? If he said that he wasn't treated like the number one driver all the time, I would understand that because at times, just given Ferrari's overall, this has obviously, I think, been diminished somewhat under Fred Vassar's leadership, but at times, Ferrari's general indecision about things sometimes spread at times to priority of driver.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think if I were Charles also, I would look around the rest of F1 and be like, why aren't things easier for us? Like, they should be doing everything for me, and yet we still somehow come up short so many times. Like, this wouldn't be happening to me if I were on another team.
It's hard to imagine him looking over at Haas and being like, where's my K-Mag? Where's my goon?
Yeah.
They do that. And and we, even Williams has a very clear priority order of driver, and the guy that I race with is on the way out, and sometimes it doesn't even feel like that's clear.
Yeah.